Honestly, I reckon this has to be the biggest letdown of 2017. Even tops the Top Sky goggles.
You were the chosen one!
G'day, Stu here from UAVfutures, and today, well, I've got to say, this has to be a massive disappointment for me. This is the biggest letdown in terms of these micro drones that I've seen this year. This is the SPC100. Whatever it is, I'll link it down below anyway, but look, I don't think many people are going to click on it because on paper, this looked like it was going to be absolutely amazing. We have incredible motors by Sunny Sky, a fantastic ESC, F4 flight controller, great little frame, and I mean even things like the RunCam Micro. Some of the best tiny components you can buy. It costs a lot of money. I was expecting this thing to do big things, and you know what? It was an absolute nightmare. So that's what we're going to jump in today. We're going to sort of be doing the part 2 review of this, where I really am going to say this thing, biggest letdown, do not buy this thing. And it's very rare for me to say that straight off the bat when it has such good components in here. I mean, this thing, it's even more of a letdown than the Top Sky goggles, which look, you know, they were sort of in the air. Everyone was hoping they were going to be good. This, you know, it had a lot of promise. This bad boy, it's got the good stuff in there, so we're going to find out what went wrong. Why am I saying not to buy this bad boy? Now again, another shout out to my Patreon supporters because I couldn't do what I do on the channel. If you haven't seen the part 1 video where I reviewed this bad boy, I'll leave a little link up there. But in that video I spoke about, I was going to be shipping this off to one of my Patreon supporters. I was really excited for them to sort of give this away, but you know, it just doesn't feel fair shipping them one of these when it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, the way I was so excited to. So what I'm also going to do, I'm going to ship you guys one out. This is the Lizard 95. So to my Patreon supporters, whoever gets this, you're also going to be getting a Lizard 95 because this one is fantastic. I'll link this down below. I'll leave the Lizard up there. That was like a crazy fast little micro drone. But definitely break this one down for parts. But don't fret because you'll also be getting one of these bad boys as well. So at least you're going to have something that you can fly around. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's jump out to the field and find out, you know, why was this thing such a letdown? Okay, so we're just going to jump straight into it, out in the field, about to take it around and look at these oscillations, like all these little twitches. It's absolutely terrible to fly. So this is its stock settings, and we do try to do a bit of a PID tune a little bit later, and it did get a little bit better, but for a stock quad that you're meant to be able to take out of the box, it's meant to work well. You're paying a lot of money for it. It's got good components in there. You'd expect it to work pretty well, and this thing, it was just a real nightmare to fly, let alone the other one wouldn't even really fly around very well. The other one was even worse than this one. So look at those jitters, absolutely terrible. And when you're trying to fly around, especially indoors, and we're not going very fast or smashing it or anything like that, and we will show you some a little bit more faster footage, but you know, it's an absolute nightmare to try and fly this thing around. So if you do have one of these, I expect we're doing a little bit, we had to put it in like so many times trying to get this thing right. But if you do have one of these, expect to spend a lot of time trying to find the right tune. It's really a shame that it doesn't come straight out of the box ready to fly in a good tune, because you know that should be essential. They shouldn't even be shipping it before it knows how to fly. I think here we could actually smell something burning, but it turns out this wasn't the quad. It was just something else. But thanks very much, Trev, for catching that one. Alrighty, so here's about take 300 after plugging it in. Got to give a bit of a shout out to my mate Lockie too, because he was right there on the quad, plugging it in, dropping the P's and all, messing with the PIDs the whole time. So we got it to fly a little bit better. Some of those jitters are gone, but yeah, it didn't feel very smooth, and I think that's exactly what you need when you're going to fly around, and especially on something so small. So you can see there when we hit the throttle, it actually goes up pretty well. So those motors do have plenty of thrust. It took forever to come down, the tiny little thing. You really had to point it at the ground. But yeah, those motors have plenty of thrust, but I can't stress this enough, how disappointed I am in this. You know, the components this was supposed to be the chosen one, and I wanted to fly this thing all the time, and it has to be my biggest letdown of the year. So look, you could go exploring with it and all that sort of stuff, but there's better quads that fly better than this for significantly cheaper. So I'm going to say, no, definitely give this one a miss. Grumpy Trev also had massive high hopes for this one. We were really expecting some cool stuff from this. So what we'll do, we'll hand it over to him, and we'll ask him what he thinks about the SPC100 as well. Alright Trev, well it sort of stopped working. What are your thoughts on the SPC110?
Well, I've got to tell you, when I seen these, I was really excited. I thought these are going to be great, especially proximity stuff.
What did you like about them?
Oh, look, the specs on the thing looks really good. Got a great camera in it, nice controller, ESC's all built in, really compact. The trouble with these things, this thing just does not want to fly. It doesn't matter what we do. We've had to change PIDs and everything, and yeah, well, it sort of hovers around, but it comes back and everything's as hot as anything. So, look, unfortunately, it's a piece of shit. Yeah, very disappointed.
What would it, before you flew this, what would have you given this out of 10, I guess, for its specs on paper?
Look, I would have given this a 10 because it just, is so good.
All right, and what's its Grumpy Trev rating in performance now that you've seen it try to fly?
I can't give it a Grumpy Trev rating. Well,
okay, what are you giving it?
Look, on the crapometer, this is a 10. This is as bad as it gets.
Yeah. And why is that? Why is that? Why is it so bad?
It doesn't fly.
Yep.
Look, everything is just too crammed in there. It's look, the concept is there, but they need a little bit more room, so you have got room to breathe. They've just tried to go too small with what they've made it with. So look, it's to me, it doesn't even rate a rating. I wouldn't waste your money, guys. I reckon these really are a piece of shit. This had so much potential. Definitely give it a miss, because these things, you prang these things, you have to fix these. They're going to be a pain in the arse.
Well, you can't even get it to fly. That's
yeah,
the problem.
You can't get it to fly anyway. A lot of prospects, but not anymore. What's the point of flying a quad that's supposed to bind and fly?
Yeah.
You can't fly it. So, yeah.
Well, okay. No worries. Thanks, Trev.
Bind and throw away, guys. That's all it's good for.
So there it is. There's my part 2 review with the SPC100, whatever it is. I'll link it down below. I'm also going to link the Lizard. Oh my gosh, the Lizard down below in the 95, because I think that's much better suited, you know, if you want some of that outdoor flying. And honestly, it flies so much better than this. So I don't know what it is. They need to go back to the drawing board. The components in here are amazing. Maybe you guys have some more ideas as well. But I think the tune was terrible. We could try to tune it out a little bit, and it did fly a little bit better. But the motors were getting ridiculously hot. You know, it's just not coming together. So I thought maybe this one was cursed, but then we sort of fired up this one as well. The exact same issues. So I'm going to say, if you're going to get one of these, you really only should be getting it for parts. I think the parts in here are fantastic, but SPC Maker, they just haven't done their homework when it comes to the tune or getting it set up correctly, because no matter how good it looks, no matter how good the components are, if it's not flying right, it's not flying like it should, it's just a bit of a waste of money. So I'm going to say, don't get this one. Biggest letdown for me of 2017. I was so excited. This was going to be my drone that I could literally fly anywhere, whether it be inside Trevor's sort of underground track, take it out and rip it around no matter where we were. It was meant to have plenty of punch, but it just doesn't seem to be the case. Anyway, hopefully you guys like that. Definitely subscribe for more FPV related content, and drop some comments down below, you know, why is this thing not flying as well as it should? Because everything in here is meant to be spectacular. I like everything in here, but it just doesn't do its job. So big letdown. Drop those comments down below, and as always, happy flying. Alrighty, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel and check out these videos. And I'm also going to leave a little link here to my Patreon page, because I've got some fantastic Patreon supporters and I like to give back to them as well. So if you want to join the UAVfutures family, there's things like bonus Velcro straps, little bundles of FPV goodies and things like that that also get sent out. Anyway, happy flying.